Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gabriel, and today I'd like to show you how I put together parts for linear actuator, which I built for my motion platform. That will be 6 of those linear actuators in the platform. And for the beginning, I'd like to show you the parts. Okay, let's begin from the down part. So there's a base for the actuator. There are the bolts, DC motor. If you can see, this motor have a brake, electromagnetic brake. This will be the plate for the mounting the parts for the SFU bolt. Here we have incrementer encoder with some gears. There's a clutch here, the drive belt for the actuator here. These are the parts which were printed out with a 3D print. So this one is a holder, or yeah, I think it's a holder for actuator. And this one I made own project for, because the rest of the parts you can find on the FlyPT FlyPT linear actuator project. So these parts actually were printed out for quite a long time for my printer. This part here is not not in the project. I think that will be some here. I think that's the original one from the project, but this is too high actually, so I cannot use it. So I had to use my own one. I build it or design it a little bit different. So on the forum X simulator you can find some of ideas how it can look. And here we have the SFU bolt aluminum profiles, which will hold all the construction together, and the aluminum pipe, which will work as a cylinder. Okay, so that's it. We can put you on the place. Okay, we are there somewhere here. And I have to apologize a little bit for my English, but I'm not using it every day, so a lot of words just disappear from the head. All right, so we can make okay. I think we're gonna start to building the actuator. Yeah, first of all, we take the base. Can maybe change the view for a better one, so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. Oh, camera problems. As always. Okay, a little bit lower maybe. So, like that. Or a little bit higher maybe. Like that. Yeah, I think that would be good. Okay, here we have some bolts I made from the threaded rods. This will hold the engine or motor, electric motor. And what we need to do, we need to put a gear first on the electric motor. That will pretty bad tightening. I will mount it around 2 millimeters away from the lower part, from the beginning, the place where the shaft coming out. And then we're gonna need some parts, some tools also. So maybe I'll put some. These are actually the tools I'm using for mounting these parts together. So there are some pliers, some screwdrivers, some wrench, and small hexagonal bits. I don't know if it's hexagonal, but it's got this kind of 6 corners bits. And add that will be it. So we can start to screw together things. Yeah, like I said, first things first. So we have to mount, I think there is a 2 millimeters screws on this. Maybe I will put a little bit higher. I hope that will be good. So like I said, 2 millimeters from the bottom part of. I don't think it one fits exactly. 2 millimeters. I have one little bit bigger. No, this one is too big. It has to be. It have to be that one. Okay. You have to feel, not too much. Okay. Then we're gonna put the clutch. So one side is a 12 millimeter, like a shaft from the electric motor, and the other side is, I think that was a 10 millimeters of the shaft SFU. Okay, so it fits. So inside there's a plastic element which actually don't let put too deep that part. And now we can screw it together. So that's it. Now I have to feel that will be good like that. We can put the belt for the encoder right now. Okay, sorry. Okay, there's part with the motor. Now we can put the mounting bolts on the place. Like that. So. And I need to stick out a little bit from both sides, so that will be this one plate like this. So the bolts have to come through this plate also. I made some thread here in the bolts on the motor, so the bolts will stick there on the thread, and that will hold from one side and from the other side. That will be this one plate on the bottom side. Okay. I need to use some pliers to take motors out from there. Okay, great. That's where I wanted to place that motor from the beginning on the floor. Okay, right now we have 4 bolts on the place there, so we can put it away a little bit for a while, the motor, and we can put together this one SFU bolt holder. Okay, and here what is important actually, there are 3D printed parts which I will put first. These parts are actually not like it looks from the FPT project. FPT Flyer, I think that he made those parts. But actually I have printed out only the upper part of this, so there's only about 70% this part which you can see. Okay, I think I lost the microphone for a second. Okay, so like I said, these parts we mount. I can measure it. They are 3.35 millimeter high. We can put them together. So this is the way I am mounting it. In between those parts, I will mount the encoder holder. Looks like that. So there's bolts which will hold encoder on the place. This part I have designed it myself, so if you want a project that kind of STL file to print it out, just let me know. Okay, this is a wrong way. This should be this way, like so. And this is the way it should be mounted, like that. It will not fit. So this element is in the between is designed the way I can move it out and in around, I don't know, couple of millimeters. It will allow me to make the regulation for the encoder for the right place of the encoder. Okay, so we don't have to screw it tight. Those nuts, sometimes I'm using the wrong words for the parts from the other languages. I don't know. That's how I remember them. Okay, so we have the this one tower, let's say it's tower, mount it together. So this one think we can start to mount in the motor maybe. I think we can do it in the motor. So we take the motor again. Oh, we cannot do it right now in the motor. So we have to put it away the motor. And right now we have to use the aluminum profiles here. Okay. And the aluminum profiles will fit. You can see here how aluminum profiles are built, so these parts will fit exactly in aluminum profiles, so it will fit like that all the way down. Yes. And here I've made some cone hole which can hold the screws or the bolts, which will fit the way it will not sticking out from the plate. That will be needed because this part will be on the motor side, so it needs to be flat here. Okay. Right now it's time to put the second profile. Of course, too many parts as always. And now we can put the screws or the bolts. I don't know how I should say, or bolts or screws. So 6 of those bolts will hold really good the aluminum profile. And as you know, that should be those small holes here. It should be threaded, so longer, at least as long as the bolts you are using. So that will be good. They are not. And I will have no problem to go through all the way down. Okay. Let's make a little bit faster maybe with this. Let's say 9. So. So. Yeah, and one thing I forget to tell you, this top plate from the linear actuator is actually really good idea to put it when you make those plates here. You can put it together in the right way, and you can drill out the holes. Actually, you can make a good exactly point where the bolts will fit to the aluminum profiles from the other side. So this is a good solution to put it together with this plate when you're drilling out the holes here. So that's, you don't need to make too much measurement, just put it in the middle and you have the places where the holes should be. Okay. I'd like to turn in with the feelings. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, there are small bolts, so we don't have to use a lot of moment. I think around 10 Newton meters it will be enough. So, okay. So actually we can mount also the upper one, top plate. This is the parts which will fit together. So this parts will also go from the upper side, from the other side. It will go like that. I actually mounted already slide bearing here. So the slide bearing is inside of the 3D printed part. So right now it's really hard to put it out, so I don't want to try to damage the bearing. So these parts will fit together, so the way the bearing cannot come out during the work. Right, like that. We can put the bolts in these two parts together. So we can put a little bit. There is pretty lot of bolts and nuts and screws and a lot of things, I should say maybe. Yeah, and there's this one. This one part is actually I have drilled it out a little bit deeper, so these bolts which should hold everything together, so they can come in through all the way in and be mounted like that. Because the original one part we can print it out from FlyPT site or FlyPT project. Use the other bolts, which actually I didn't had to use, so I have made a little bit modification like that. So there's not everything fits like we want actually from the beginning sometimes. So these printed parts from the beginning from my 3D printer was printed out the way actually I had all the holes you can see here, over here, and in this all the parts actually, also even with this one part here, I had to drill it out with, I think it was 5mm drill. Let's see if I have it. Yeah, actually, so all the holes I had to drill it out with the 5mm drill. I think this one is a bit bigger. Yeah, this is 5.5. Where is the right drill? This is 5mm drill, so you have to drill through all the holes after printing parts, so every bolt fits there without a problem. So that will work very good then. So we have the upper plate which is on the place with the bearing holder. Okay. So if you are screwing together the bolt and nut, so you have to feel the right moment also there, so it shouldn't be much. So it's a plastic part, so it cannot be much because it's a 5mm bolt, so these bolts don't need a lot of moment when you're turning, but it's enough to feel it seats. It's also, I think, around 10 Newton-meters or even less. Okay, so this part we can mount on the top plate. So we have a aluminum profile, which, as you can see, looks pretty cool. It's really strong part if every bolt is on the place, so it should be really strong construction. Okay, I don't know. No, we cannot mount this one yet. So we can go back to the electric motor. And now, so remember, this one belt needs to be there, but actually it needs to be on the place over here between. Now we can mount, so these bolts are ready to, as you can see, there's nothing sticking out from the plate. So if these parts go together, so there will be no hole between, they will fit together really good. So actually we have a electric motor on the place with the aluminum profile. We can put some bolts which will hold this upper part with the motor. Okay, there are 4 bolts, and I will mount, so I think this part will be on the outside when it will be sits on the rig. So also outside I will mount the mechanic opening for the brake. I have no idea, or should I make it working from the beginning or later. I can open it always mechanically, so don't think that will be problem to make the electronic control for this one. So the motor is 24 volts, as well the brake is 24 volts DC. Okay. And the lower part here we have it to open this one. Okay, these nuts have this anti-screw out thing, so there's a Teflon plate, I think Teflon part, which hold the bolts they're not screwing out itself from the vibrations. Okay, so now I think I can screw it together, the upper bolts and the upper nuts. Okay, not too much. Okay, down a little bit too much. Like that. Okay, the first one. Okay, the second one. So they are locking itself already on this thread in the motor part. A little bit more. Okay, good. These bolts we can screw in a little bit harder because they're a bit bigger size. Okay, right now we have to place the lower plate on the bottom of the actuator. But first we need to put the aluminum pipes here. Actually they are working like distance. Okay, I don't know why, but the microphone is turning off. I think there's nothing in the phones, that's why it's turning off every couple of minutes. But we can live with it, I think. Okay. Now we can put the bottom plate. As I will remember, it should be like that. So, and here we have 4 nuts which will hold together those parts. Like that. Okay, great. This one is 2. Okay, and the last one here. 2. Right. Okay, it holds. I will double check the upper one. Yes, it fits. Oh, it sits good. It sits good. Okay. Just want to. Okay, this way we have the main construction of the cylinder actuator. Actually, we're almost there, but something is missing here. So that will be the SFU bolt, which will come soon. Actually, we can mount it right now. So we have to take away this one top plate. And of course, we need the help with the best friend hammer. Okay. And now we can put it away and mount together the SFU bolt. So I have already mounted the lower part. I didn't want to open because it's locked already. So to mount this one part, I have made a couple of extra. So if you can see here, there's a distance here. There's the washers, which makes if this one part comes down all the way, so it stops on these washers. In between, I put it a motor, which I have drilled out with a 12 millimeters drill, so there is no thread inside. It fits here between, like that. It works like a that distance. It's like a washer also. And then it's coming the bearing. I don't know what's the name in English, this one kind of bearing. So it will self-adjust when it fits on the place. And later it comes with a motor, or not like this one here. This have a lock bolt. This is really good. 12 millimeter inside diameter, and there's a kind of, I don't know, masic or copper or something which lock the thread inside. So it should works really good. So that's why I didn't want it to open over here to show you how it works, but you can see it. So there are the parts on the side. And right now we're gonna mount the slider. This one part here. On this one part here, I also had to drill out a little bit deeper here, the bolts. I think this one is the size for the bolts. The holes are 5 millimeters diameter, but this one here, to make the bolts sticking out a little bit longer down there, I had to drill out around 6 millimeters with the drill 8 millimeters, so it let me use the bolts a little bit longer. So I think that will be good. Yeah, it will fit like that. So as you can see, the mounting part, it's pretty easy to do. If everything fits, sometimes you have to scratch a little bit parts or drill out a little bit more. to remove the things which not let you put together parts. Cool. Okay, and this is also plastic part, so we don't need to use too much force, too much momentum. Like that. Yes. Nice. Okay, now we can mount. Now we can mount that slider on its place between the aluminum profiles. And it also, like you see here, have a place which the profile will fit over here and over here. So it should go quite easy without too much force. As you can see, it will work really easy. So we can put it all the way down. And here it will have to get, as you can see, maybe it have to get through the, maybe cannot see it. Let's try this way. Yeah, it should fit on the coupling. Yeah, that will be good, easier to see. It should fit on the coupler like that, and it sits here. It shouldn't be like that. Should be like that. Yes. Great. So here we can put there are two bolts which are 6mm thick, which will hold the SFU bearing. Okay, great. And we have to lock also on the coupler or the clutch. I don't know how I should say. Maybe the clutch or maybe the coupler. But we need to lock the SFU bolt on the coupler. Let's say it's coupler. So right now, if I want to turn the motor, I have to I have to push down or up this arm here to open the brake. So I can turn a little bit motor right now to find the right place where the bolt which are locking SFU bolt on the place is. And now I can lock it down. I think it's a bit harder than I thought. I don't remember the size of I think that's the right size. Yes, okay. And now we can turn in the nodes which are holding the SFU bolt in the actuator. Its holder. And all these 3D printed parts are solid printed 100% in field. So I will put a little bit less stretch on one side. Okay, let's turn so it will show the right place for the bearing. Yeah, like that. So okay, and right now we are almost there. So the last thing, so SFU bolt is there and it's holding for its place. And we can test it. We can turn the motor. Okay, it seems to be there's no resistance at all. It turns really easy. That's what we want to see. And right now we can mount the encoder, or the encoder actually, on the place. I will put it like that. So the encoder have six holes to mount actually, so I can turn 90 or not 360 divide by 3, so 120 degrees. The place where I want to have the cable sticking out. So let's try this one is quite okay. There's always coming a lot of mess when you're working with this kind of things. So it's pretty lot of tools you're gonna need to put it together, everything. And even more tools to manufacture parts. Okay. Okay. Right now we are mounting the gear on the encoder. And we can put the belt on the encoder also. Okay. So we have a lot of loose on the belt, as you can see. So we have to stick out, let make some how to say it, stretch out a little bit I'd get out from this place. The belt was hopping out, jumping out from this place, the lower place. Okay, have to do it one more time. First the lower gear. Okay, it's the lower gear, and try now the upper gear. Okay. And now if we can see, can stretch. I can push the between part to stretch a little bit encoder. Hold it stretched. I think a little bit more. Seems to be good. So now I can lock the upper bolts here to not let the encoder holder back, and make the tension will gonna stay all the time there. Okay, great. Not too much pressure here also. That's right. Okay, double check. That's great. Now we can turn a little bit the motor and let the gear fits its place. Again, microphone problem. Okay, that's great. I can see the belt is in between. It should be. Okay, so I can look the gear on the encoder. Good. Okay, great. So we have encoder ready. The last part is to put actually we have two end switches. These need to be put here on the end of the rod when the bolt can go up and down. It will be here. I will not do it right now because I'm a little bit in a hurry to do something else. But these encoders, not encoders, this and how to say, and switches to work like that. It will feel when the slider touch this one metal part, it clicks. Maybe you can hear it. Yeah. So it will turn off the motors if they somehow will go so long. Okay, that's it. And the part we need to mount is this one top plate. Okay. and that left these 6 bolts here to mount, and the last part is to put the pipe down here. Okay, I have to go now actually, so there are only 2 bolts which will hold the pipe on the place here. So that's how that looks, the first actuator. So that's it. That's the job. Okay, thanks for today. See you next time.